Hi, I'm Trish. I thought I'll make you a quick little video about hair loss because I'm seeing a lot of people posting about, like after their weight loss surgery and also in a plastics group I'm in, women losing a lot of hair after having like either major surgery like plastic surgery, abdominoplasty, breast lifts, all that sort of thing. So I already knew all this, but I did some proper research so I can tell you all the proper names and all that sort of thing. Can't guarantee that I know how to pronounce them properly. Now, I've had two surgeries this year. I had the breast reduction, which was a very big surgery in April, and then in June I had the lap band revision. My hair doesn't respond well to surgeries or to the general anaesthetics. So I have actually had quite a lot of hair fall out. You wouldn't notice that. You wouldn't have noticed it in any of my videos or any of my photos because I'm coming from a starting point of having a ridiculous amount of hair. I have probably at least twice as much hair as normal people do. So you don't notice it. I only notice it myself because I don't brush my hair really unless I'm pulling it back like in these little bunches here. I'll brush it then, but most of the time I just run my fingers through it because my hair doesn't respond well to brushing, so I don't notice the hair loss. The only time I do notice it is when I start to get this regrowth, and I don't know if you can see all that real bum fluffy kind of short little hairs there. Just really short, like because the rest of my hair's much longer, and I'll wait until after I've gone to the gym and I'll come home and I'll take a bit more video and I'll show you just how much hair I do have, but yeah, I've just got all this real bum fluff here, and it sticks straight. You can kind of see it there a little bit. It just sticks straight up. That's what bothers me for a couple of months when it starts to grow back, but that'll grow and it'll blend into the rest of my hair and it'll be fine. And until then, I'll just, I didn't do it today, but I normally do slick it down with a bit of hair moisturiser and it's fine. But I thought I'll go over why your hair is falling out. It's not going to stop it from falling out, but at least you'll know why, and you'll know that it's not permanent and it will grow back. It's just annoying, and I really feel for the ladies who are starting with very fine hair in the first place. I'm sorry my eyes are going up and down like this because I've got it actually with the camera around so that I can see myself, so that I could show you the little hairs, and I'm not used to that, and I'm too busy looking at my own beautiful face while I'm taking the video, and I should be looking up there more. Now, the reason that your hair does fall out prematurely like that, and excessively like in handfuls, it's very normal for your hair to fall out anyway. Normally, like from what I've read, 50 to 100 hairs. I don't know if anyone's going to be bothered counting all their hairs that fall out, but you will notice if you normally like do brush your hair and stuff, if you're losing more than normal. And I have actually had situations with surgeries where I've noticed just hair building up in the bottom of the shower when my hair's been long enough, and hair on my pillowcase and that sort of thing. That will happen in response to stress. So things like malnutrition, which a lot of us do go through to some degree when we have weight loss surgery because we just can't eat enough. Surgery itself, general anaesthetics, and I'm not talking about the sort of general anaesthetic you have if you're having a gastroscopy or a colonoscopy or, like something like that, where you're only going to be out for, 20, 30 minutes. I'm talking about the longer surgeries, so like when you've been lap banded or sleeved or bypassed or, like you've had a tummy tuck, something like that, those longer surgeries where you're under a general anaesthetic for much longer. What other thing? Childbirth, because it's such a strain on your body that can cause your hair to fall out a little bit. And severe anemia, which is really just, like a mineral deficiency. So the best things you can do for yourself is make sure you keep your protein up and your iron, your zinc. And I've seen in a lot of the hair and nail supplements, silica and biotin. I took a really good hair and nail supplement after being lap banded initially, and I don't think it helped. I don't think it helped at all. And also the silica, I'm not sure if that's for hair or nails, but it's in a lot of the hair and nail supplements. So I'm sure it can't hurt, and I'm not saying to go out and take those things, but maybe talk to your doctor about it. if you're not deficient in iron, don't take iron. That's really bad for you then. I am deficient in iron, or my iron is very, very low. My zinc is low. I've started taking zinc. Too early yet to know if it's really going to help my hair, but my nails are very awful at the moment, so don't look too closely. But if you look at my nails there, see, you can see that growth, how quick they're growing. I only did my nails about a week ago, so that's how I can see that they're really growing much faster, and I'm hoping they're going to be a bit stronger now. But I'm also taking calcium. My doctor, when she saw my nails, told me to take calcium. So maybe talk to your doctor and maybe get some vitamins into you if you're deficient and if your doctor thinks that they'll be of value. But other than that, just make sure, as with all weight loss surgery, protein first, always protein first. Now, I mentioned that childbirth can make your hair fall out. When I had my son, I was fine. Probably just lost like normal hair from, generalised all over. But when I had my daughter, I had a chunk of hair fall out right here that was like the size of a 50-cent piece. It was massive. It was really big, and it was like completely bald. And that was horrifying for me, because I thought, oh my God, I've got alopecia now. All of my hair's going to fall out. I'm going to be bald and everything. I was really, really upset. But it grew back. But, the same. It just grew out, this just like really spiky, straight out. And so I just wore my hair over to the side and covered it until it grew out, and that was fine. And then when I had my gallbladder out 8 years ago, I was really sick. I had to have very major open surgery, and my liver enzymes for months afterwards were just off the charts. I was so sick. I had every single time I went to the toilet for the first 3 months, I had diarrhea. Every single time I went, I was that sick, and it happened again. The same patch right here just all fell out, and it was completely bald, so, started styling my hair over. But, I was the only one who noticed that. But for the most part, I just have, just like handfuls of hair falling out if I bother to notice. Now, the stages of your hair goes through growth stages. It doesn't just grow non-stop all the time, which is, I think, what a lot of people think that's how their hair grows. It's not. There's actually 4 stages to hair growth. You have, and I'll give you the fancy names in case you want to look them up, but the first stage is called XOGen, which is when your hair is actually physically growing, and that lasts for anywhere between 2 and 7 years, which explains why some people can only grow their hair to a certain length, because most hair will grow on average around about 12 centimetres a year. So if your hair only grows for 2 years, if you're one of those people whose hair only grows for 2 years, the longest your hair is ever going to get is about 24 centimetres. So, but I think most people's hair growth grows for a bit longer than that. I know I've never been able to grow my hair like terribly long. I have grown it a little bit long, but not really, really, really long. So that your hair grows for about 2 to 7 years, and also it's not all of your hair grows all at the same time. And I know that because for probably quite a few years now, I don't actually get my hair cut. I grow it, and I give it a little bit of a trim every now and then, but I've shaved my head a few times, and I notice that when it grows back, it doesn't all grow back at the same length, because different sections of your hair will grow at different times. So some of it will be growing, some of it won't be. So that's why you get that unevenness as well. Then the second stage is called XOGen, and that is the resting phase, and that lasts for about 3 months, and up to 10 to 15% of the hairs over your whole head will be in that stage at any given time. So that's just when it's resting. It's not growing, it's not falling out, it's not dying off, it's not doing anything, it's just sitting there, just being hair on your head. So then it goes into the third stage, which is telogen, which is the regression stage, and that lasts for about 10 days. That's when so I'm just reading off my notes because I couldn't remember it all. That's when the actual hair follicle shrinks and detaches from you've got the root inside your head. That's when it detaches there, but the hair doesn't fall out yet. It's just sitting there not growing and just waiting for the right time to fall out. So then it goes into the fourth stage, which is XOGen, which is when the hairs shed. That's when the actual hair falls out of your head. And that the excess shedding happens when the hair enters that second stage, the resting stage, too early. And things like childbirth, malnutrition, surgery, general anaesthetics can force those stages to go into that resting stage earlier than it's supposed to. So just say you've got a 5-year growth hair cycle and you're only 2 years, like the hairs, some of the hairs on your head are only 2 years into that cycle. Rather than continuing on and going for that full 5-year growth cycle, it will stop and go into the resting phase. So then, like three and a half months later, the hairs will fall out, like much earlier than they were going to. So, when you have, let's go with surgery, because I think that's probably what most people are going to be looking at. Like, oh, I got lap banded and then all my hair fell out. The hair loss, if that resting stage has been interrupted, you'll notice the hair loss. And this is why a lot of people don't put like 2 and 2 together, because they have the surgery and then their hair doesn't start falling out till months later. Or people like me don't notice that their hair has fallen out later, and then, it's not until about 6 months later that I notice I've got all this fluffy regrowth. So just say you have your surgery, and then your hair, if it's going to fall out, it'll be usually between 6 weeks and 3 months later. I think mine happens a lot earlier than that, going by when my hair grows back in, because, if I've got this fluff here now, that's already a few months growth. But yeah, on average, going by the research I've done, 6 weeks to 3 months after you've had your surgery, your hair will start falling out. And then after about 6 months after that, your hair should start growing back. So, it's just a slow process, and you're going to have thin hair for a while, but it will grow back. I noticed mine, I had my surgery now, November. It was about 7.5 months ago, and I've only noticed this bum fluff growing back probably about a month ago. So that fits in roughly with that timeline. If my hair fell out, almost as soon as I had that surgery, and then it's started growing back, probably a little bit less than 6 months for me. So yeah, that's it. I hope that helps people. I'm just checking on my notes to make sure I haven't forgotten anything. But no, I haven't. So, as awful it is there, and the only thing I can suggest, go and see your doctor, find out if you are deficient in things like iron and zinc. Take a multivitamin or, hair and nail supplement if you think it's going to help. I've never noticed that it's helped, but maybe it will help some people. Some people swear by it. And in the meantime, just be really gentle with your hair. I wouldn't suggest colouring it or, straightening it too much or anything like that. And don't wash it. I know a lot of people wash their hair every day. I wash my hair twice a week and my hair's fine. So you just be very gentle. And if worst comes to worst, almost without fail, if you just give it a really good cut, like a good short cut, it'll look so much better, because it'll get rid of those yucky ends on it. And short hair, I think, always looks a lot thicker because there's not all that weight dragging it down. When my hair gets long, it just sits all flat on top and all fluffy around the bottom. It's a bit yucky. So that's it. I'll pop back after I've been to the gym and I'll get my hair out, and I'll just show you that, my hair's in good nick. For the rest of it, it's just all this fluffy stuff at the top. That's all for now. It's me back again. I've been to the gym, and as promised, I'll show you that even though I've got this bum fluffy stuff here, that I've still got tons and tons of hair. So I'll just pretend that I'm in a, excuse me, bad lighting from my computer. I'll pretend that I'm in a hair product commercial, and I'll just let it all out for you. You can see, actually, it's now, what is it now? Almost 5 p.m. I washed my hair at like 8 o'clock this morning, so it's like 8 hours later. This is how thick my hair is. It's still wet. It's still wet at the back there. So as you can see, I'm one of the lucky ones who doesn't have a problem with hair loss. There's plenty of it there. It's in pretty good nick considering I don't cut it. I have not cut this at all since I shaved it. So what's that? That much growth, and I don't cut it. It's a different texture down here. It's quite dry and fuzzy, but that's my old original dark hair still. I'm just waiting for it to turn all beautiful like this silver hair here that picks up the purple shampoo. So that's it. If you're losing your hair, be patient. It will grow back. Probably the best thing you can do is talk to your doctor about some vitamins. If you're deficient, if you're not, don't take vitamins, and get yourself a really good short haircut. I know a lot of women don't like to get their hair cut short, but it might revolutionise your life. You might really, really like it. That's all.